last week on the Friday Rumble, Marianne Meed wasn't here. I think it was last week, because it was snowing a great deal, and you can't ask women to drive in the snow. But David Menzies and Marianne Meed, here they are. Let's have a look at them. Let's have a look at them. Come on, there they are. There they are.
30 centimeters. It wasn't just any old snowstorm.
We
were advised by the authorities to stay off the roads if we could.
Which authorities? God spoke to you.
God, he and she does occasionally.
He and she.
Cam Woolley on CP24. No, you know, Michael, this is the ultimate comeuppance for Marianne Meed Ward, because once we were talking about vehicles several months ago, and you know, Marianne Meed Ward did the usual. Oh, me and the little Meed Wards would never want to get into a big SUV with a huge carbon footprint.
Is that what she did?
Oh well, yes. And now,
I don't remember that.
Exactly like
and guess what? My big all-wheel drive Ford Adrenaline got me home, no problem. You deserted us.
David, is it true the larger the car, the smaller the appendage of the man?
That is correct. Yes.
Really? And you've got a very large car.
I do, I guess, right?
No, I said smaller.
I have a minivan. I didn't say that. What does that mean?
The larger the car, the smaller the appendage. Oh, it doesn't matter. Let's move on to, and David, you're married to a South African girl, so you'll know all about this story. But of course, Oscar Pistorius, who we don't know what happened. Well, we know she was shot. We don't know it was him. It could have been him. It could have been an accident. It always. I was very disturbed, by the way, by the police brigadier, the woman who announced that there'd been other visits by the police to the house of a domestic nature. I don't think that we should know that at this stage. It's not our business.
Well, you know, the first story was that he mistook her for an intruder, but then as more information came out, they were shouting and whatever. We don't know.
People heard shouting. They don't know if they were shouting at each other.
For an extended period of time. So not, oh, there's an intruder, dear, get the rifle. It was, or whatever, the shotgun, the fire.
Get the rifle ready.
Yeah, so,
but Marianne, you know what these things are like. Look, it's a gated community. The chances are that people wouldn't have heard much of the shouting anyway. People always want to be experts after the event.
Well,
we don't know what happened.
We don't know. But he's been charged, and I don't think the police would have charged him if they didn't have some reason to do so. And, you know, it's a very disturbing story.
David?
Yeah, we don't know what happened exactly, Michael, but I'll tell you, I know firearms experts, and when it comes to the whole self-defense, the idea that you pick up a gun and shoot willy-nilly at the first shadow that moves, that's not how it happens.
Willy-nilly? Why are you going to shoot willy-nilly? What's he done to you, for goodness? Leave Willy alone.
Yeah, well, I think you brought up Willies earlier on. But the point is, when you are ready to make that decision of squeezing the trigger, you confirm what your shot is. And certainly, she doesn't look like she'd be some kind of person doing it.
It could have been through a door. We're hearing that she could have been in another room. So I just.
Well, then you would never make that shot. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, anyone who's had firearms training, the idea that you're going to shoot through a wall, shoot through a door, and I'm just going to assume it's a bad guy, that's preposterous.
Well, the first thing you'd want to do if you thought there was an intruder is make sure that the other people in your household are safe. That's what I would do.
There's a tweet,
make sure that your wife or your girlfriend, or if you have children, you'd secure their safety first before you go. Yes, but I'm saying in his case, if he thought there was an intruder in the house, wouldn't he have made sure his girlfriend was safe?
Well, initially there were these,
or got her out of the house if he thought there was an intruder.
I don't know if it was any more than a rumor that it had been a Valentine's Day prank gone wrong, which is, I mean, just grotesque.
With guns, Valentine's with guns.
Well, I think that what people were saying was that she had come in, you know, pretending to be an intruder, and he had said, "Oh my God!" And
well, who would do that, Johanna? I mean, that's like the movie Zombieland, where the Bill Murray character pretends to be a zombie during a zombie apocalypse and gets shot. Right? Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't do that, right?
No, it's just horrible all round. I don't enjoy or relish people celebrating other people's tragedy. Whatever happened, it's terrible. He's not an evil man. If he did, who knows why? If he did. But there's so many people now trying to exploit the situation.
Michael, he had the world by the string. He was one of the most maybe the most popular athlete in South Africa, wealthy, famous. You know, even if there was some kind of unworkable grudge with the victim, the idea that you would resort to this, I mean.
I don't know.
Well, he had everything, and we've seen these.
Well, not everything.
You know what? He had it all in terms of, obviously a girlfriend. He had fame. He had wealth. He had achieved great things, and we've seen these kinds of spectacular falls from grace where And I'm not saying this is the case in his case. We don't know what the details are. But, you know, you look at someone like Senator Brazo, who had everything and messed it up. We look at someone like O.J. Simpson, had everything, messed it up.
Brazo, I don't know if he had everything, but he certainly had a very...
He had a very comfortable life by any standards.
Anyway,
if he is found guilty and he goes away to jail, does he get to keep the blades, or like would they?
I don't think he'd have those blades. No. I think
I'm just wondering what do you do with
them. People were saying these are weapons.
Well, artificial leg. Yes, he will be able to walk around. It was Douglas Bader, Second World War fighter pilot. Do you know about him?
No.
You've never heard of him?
No.
Reach for the Sky. He was mainly a Hurricane pilot, but he was a group captain, and he shot down lots of German planes, and he had no legs. He lost his legs in a flight accident before the war, and when he was captured by the Germans, at one point they did take the legs away.
Wow.
Fascinating.
Because he kept trying to escape. You should know these things. He's a wonderful man.
Sorry, headmaster.
You are a font of very interesting
Have you not heard
sources
of him?
knowledge. No,
I have now.
He was a great... he told a wonderful joke.
Did he do anything nasty in his later life?
He did nothing nasty.
Okay.
He was a marvellous rugby player, very talented golfer. He was a fighter pilot, fighter racer in the Second World War. He tried to escape from prison war camps,
so he rose above his circumstances.
He did, over and over again. And he told a very funny joke at a private girls' school, and I was just going through my mind, should I tell it on air? And I decided, no, I'm not going to.
Don't.
Oh.
No, because I'll tell you in the commercial break.
Do you think the punchline would stump us?
Why do you keep doing this? What is it?
That's like mini-me. You're doing he's channeling Mike Myers.
You're bringing the conversation back to that again, are you?
That's what
when we come back, and Marianne used to work with these people, actually. I want to ask about
mini-me's?
About Thomas Mulcair, Crossroads, homophobia, and matters related. Particularly
good.
you two, but everyone watching as well. Just don't go away. Look, we've gone over this so many times by now. Thomas Mulcair, you're either massively misinformed. If so, apologise. Be a man. Be a man. Or you're lying. And if so, stop it. Be a man. Be a man. We know what happened here. Crossroads, I worked there for 12 years. Marianne worked there too. We'll speak to her in a few moments' time. There was a paragraph from 25 years ago that was talking about sexual sin. It listed certain sins. It didn't compare homosexuality to paedophilia and bestiality, but just juxtaposing them was clumsy, lacking in nuance and empathy and sensitivity. It was bad stuff. And when the Crossroads people saw it about 3 months ago, they had it removed. If you are shown any pictures of a website with this paragraph in from a few days ago, they're photographs. Is it cached? Is that the word?
Cached.
Cached?
Cached.
Oh, I don't know. What do I know? I'm 54. But anyway, they're not. They had this removed. They are not homophobic. They are Christian. They have a view about homosexuality, but they're good, decent people. I'll begin with you, Marianne, because you worked there for a while, didn't you?
Well, when your show used to be there. In fact, I just did some work for them at CTS. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you'd left by then, but you were certainly involved with Crossroads.
Yeah, I wasn't on staff. I did freelance work.
And you had disagreements, but I mean.
So do I agree with their position on homosexuality and homosexual marriage? No. I think homosexuality is acceptable. I think that people who love each other should be allowed to get married. So, I don't agree with their view of it. But after this story broke and they were accused by Mr. Mulcair of being homophobic, I actually got a tweet to my city account saying, why doesn't the city of Burlington and you as a councillor run this horrible group out of town? And why do you allow that? Yeah, and so I haven't responded yet, but my view is if they're not breaking any of our hate laws, if they're not inciting hatred, there's lots of protections for speech. There's freedom of speech.
That's
there's
very liberal of you, Marianne.
for bad speech.
Muslims, Orthodox Jews, Catholics, evangelicals, the Dalai Lama, Sikhs, they're all allowed to have a view that doesn't support homosexual behaviour. That's very progressive of you.
Well, there you go. They're allowed to teach that, and people can believe what they want. We have freedom of religion in this country, and so if the government is going to
either being misinformed or lying, he said that Crossroads supported the views of the Ugandan government. Now, although it's a little bit more complex than this, they do believe to a large extent in criminalising homosexuality. That is not the view of Crossroads or of any civilised person.
So it depends what he meant, and I
don't
know what
Once again, Mulcair got it wrong. I mean, he's too arrogant to apologise.
Okay, if the government of Uganda believes homosexuality is wrong, so does Crossroads. There's a similarity there.
Criminalising or
so that is
actually
different.
executing. Somewhat.
Yeah. Yes.
Somewhat.
But you start with, are they preaching that? I think his view is, are they preaching that when they're going to give
Marianne,
aid?
that's not what he
forth.
said. Look, I disagree with same-sex marriage. If someone tried to criminalize homosexuality, I would be marching with the gay community saying this is horrendous. You cannot do this. There is a difference between saying marriage is one man and one woman and wanting to hurt and harm or criminalize gay people.
There is, but there are people who will use that view to foster
there are people also who believe that the moon's made of cheese. It doesn't really matter.
See, I would have a problem with this story if there was some kind of financial shenanigans going on, Michael. If there, people, the money not going towards the aid projects, but we know this money is going towards digging wells.
Very successfully.
For clean water. And by the way, water does not discriminate. If you're a Ugandan straight person or gay person, you're going to benefit from drinking. The gay thing is not the issue.
Water. People with HIV in Uganda are not gay. They're heterosexual. It's not really a gay issue in Africa.
But where I was leading to this, Michael, is that the Thomas Mulcairs of this world would say, that's it, stop the program, stop digging the wells, let African babies die because we have a problem with some ideology that, in this case, has been misinterpreted.
Well, it's not really about that at all anyway, is it? It's about trying to attack the Tories vicariously. Yeah. And the CEDA money that was given to Crossroads, and everyone agrees, they did, even Bob Ray, they did the work superbly. The money will be given to them now, but the NDP... And I think Mulcair has been told he got this wrong. He knows he looks like an idiot and a bigot, but he's too arrogant to say, I probably got some of this wrong.
Well, he needs to decide whether he thinks government funding should go to any religious groups, including Catholic groups that he's being that he's praised, which also have the same teachings, incidentally, as Crossroads around homosexuality and marriage and so forth.
It depends.
Does he, if he thinks that no religious group should get it, that's...
But Marianne, that's not true. Look, I've never seen on any Catholic website a paragraph that was as crass as the one that appeared on the Crossroads website. And to re-emphasize, Crossroads expunged it, they removed it as soon as they could.
But the fact remains that there are religious groups that do preach a very different view of homosexuality and marriage, gay marriage, than the law. So is that the issue, or is it just the way...
What do you mean the law?
The law of Canada allows this.
Yeah.
And a lot of religious groups don't support... No, but they don't support it. So
would you allow evangelical and Catholic groups, for example, to take government money to go and help the poor in Africa?
Yeah, I don't have...
Okay. All right, let's just move on very quickly here, because I want to talk about fat people. Melissa McCarthy? Now, her career seems to be just a fat joke. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be hurtful here, but she's not famous now because she's a wonderful actress. She's famous because she's a fat actress. And the TV show she has, the movies, it's her, look, I'm a very fat person dancing, or... So why she should be upset when someone referred to her as being fat? A film critic said her film was very bad and she's just... I think he called her a hippo. Now, that may have been a bit dumb, but being fat is what she's all about.
So she's making jokes and being very self-referential. That is what comedians do. They all do that. They take self-referential. They take their own stories and make them into jokes. So, but to say their film is bad, I don't... Is it because she's fat? Is that why it's bad? I don't understand the connection between his criticism
I think he was criticizing her as a performer. It's one shtick. It's, hey, I'm fat. I mean, and that's not that
so
funny.
Maybe he doesn't find her funny, but so say I don't find your jokes funny. It has nothing to do with her size.
David?
This is astonishing. I mean, as you said in your preamble, Michael, she dines out on her fatness, on her
quite a lot, apparently.
And no pun intended. And Marianne Meed Ward seems to be saying here, well, let's focus the criticism, I guess, on her performance, etc.
Sure,
and yet we have somebody, the Caledonia Crusader, Gary McHale, who happens to be overweight. He'll be the first to tell you that. And in writing, you label him as a whale.
Oh,
now
that's a bit tricky, Marianne.
Please, Marianne Meed Ward, educate me, explain the nuance here.
So let me... So the whole context of the column, and it's very important to look at the context, was around him arriving in a community and intimidating some of the people that were there.
Well, how?
And
by his weight?
size was relevant.
Oh, Marianne, wait a minute. Let me interject here.
If you are a large person, no, you asked me to explain.
There are natives in that community that make Gary McHale look like Skinny Minnie. Believe me, baby.
And I criticize them in the column,
We're pretty much out of time. Could this be a Thomas Mulcair moment? Could it be time for you to say, you know what, I was probably wrong to say that?
No, it was relevant to the column.
Right.
So if she's making fat jokes and she's large, it's
Who
relevant.
are you talking to?
I'm talking to the people here. Nobody here at the table.
It's just a camera.
Which camera is supposed
It's
to look at?
unbelievable.
We have to go, and I'm feeling a bit peckish, so I'm off to eat a hippo or something. Thank you. Bye. Bye.